Let's stay in Germany. It was a financial scandal that rocked the country, the rise and fall of Wirecard, one of Europe's largest fintech companies. Now a fraud trial has opened the city of Munich for the former CEO. Markus Braun was arrested in June 2020 after $2.1 billion went missing from the payments provider's accounts before the company went bankrupt. Our correspondent Natalie Carney is in Munich and following the story for us. So, Natalie, what's happened so far in this trial?
Well, as you mentioned, today was the first day for the trial against the former Wirecard CEO, Markus Braun. It started about 45 minutes late. He's also being charged as well with two former Wirecard executives, the ex-accounting head, Steven von Erfa, as well as the former head of Wirecard's Dubai subsidy, Oliver Bellenhaus. The day began essentially with the reading of a 90-page indictment against the three men, as well as a fourth man that's being charged in absentia. He is Wirecard's former chief operating officer, Jan Masalek. He was able to evade arrest back in 2020 in a quite profound escape from an Austrian airport on a private jet. There's no confirmed reports of where he is, but there are some rumors he may be in Russia, out of the hands, of course, of the European police. However, in today's trial, the former CEO, Markus Braun, did point to Masalek being the mastermind behind this quote-unquote fraud gang, because most of Wirecard's sales and profits, according to the books, were said to come from countries that he was responsible for. Braun does have a number of charges against him. So do the other two executives. So does Masalek. He could be charged, Braun that is, with accounting fraud and market manipulation. Here's a piece that describes how we got here.
It is recognized as Germany's biggest post-war financial fraud scandal. Once Europe's most exciting fintech company with 250,000 customers and a market valuation of $26 billion, outweighing even that of Germany's #1 lender, Deutsche Bank. Today, the payment service provider is bankrupt, and its former CEO, Markus Braun, and two other executives facing criminal charges, and ex-COO Jens Masalek on the run. It all came crashing down when it emerged that $2.1 billion had disappeared from the company's balance sheet. German prosecutors believe Austrian-born Braun, along with others at Wirecard, artificially increased the company's assets and revenues in order to appeal financially stronger and more attractive to investors. Large-scale commercial fraud that prosecutors say dates back as far as 2015.
Der Tatvorwurf ist hinsichtlich der verschiedenen Beschuldigten unterschiedlich.
The charges vary from suspect to suspect, but altogether they are charged with organized commercial criminal fraud, breach of trust, false accounting and market manipulation in multiple cases. At the moment, we only have an impression from interviews with witnesses who reported a strict hierarchical system marked by loyalty and pledges of allegiance to the CEO.
Und Treue schwüren gegenüber dem Vorstandsvorsitzenden als Führungsperson berichtet.
In 2020, Wirecard became the first ever DAX member to file for insolvency, owing nearly $4 billion. Yet sharp criticism also fell on the federal government and financial watchdog BaFin for missing early warning signs. Both the then finance minister, now Chancellor Olaf Scholz, and then Economic Minister Peter Altmaier were grilled by a parliamentary committee about potential regulatory fraud and when exactly they learned of Wirecard's misconduct. Documents showed that Scholz was told of concerns as early as February 2019.
It's clear that this is a financial scandal, and while the financial supervision is with the Finance Ministry, what's most important to me is Angela Merkel's role and the role of Mr. Scholz. Who failed more in this, they can decide amongst themselves.
Former Chancellor Angela Merkel also faced lawmakers over reports that she promoted the company during a trip to China in September 2019, when journalists were already voicing doubts about Wirecard's books. The Parliamentary Investigation Committee concluded the economic damage from Wirecard amounted to over $31 billion and said it was regrettable that no one in the German government had taken responsibility for the scandal. A special police task force searching multiple properties, scouring immense amounts of data, and involving authorities from around 25 countries have compiled the case against Markus Braun and his fellow defendants. Braun, who denies any wrongdoing, could face up to 15 years in jail if found guilty.